Paul
Mhm.
Nowell, aka Paul the Trombonist. He's got his cool logo on his shirt right there. And he's a member of the voting group for the Grammys. He's played for all kinds of people, all kinds of celebrities. He's recording his album right now, which I actually just pre-ordered, which I suggest you
Thank you.
pre-order as well. He's got some cool stuff available.
Actually, we just got other incentives,
Okay.
like have a coffee hangout, or you can get signed mouthpieces and signed trombones. That's kind of what we're offering.
Okay, nice. Very cool. Yeah, so my situation is I'm a saxophone player, but my main band that I play in is a salsa band, and we have two trombones. Like, the guy who's running the group with me, he really loves the sound of like Willie Colon, like the Fania
Yeah,
stuff. So
yeah.
for some reason, I don't play the trombone, but I was in the band. And then we got two more trombones. So we got this kind of horn section with the three guys and a lot of trombone. But
Nice.
basically, what I figured though is that the saxophone and the trombone, they kind of play some similar roles in the music. They're both horns. They both can like improvise. They can do different horn lines. And I play with the trombones myself. So yeah, I figured you'd have a lot of interesting thing to say about music, about practicing, maybe about recording and like talking to different people.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. So yeah,
so
as far as the relationship from the trombone and the saxophone, that's a really strong compatibility that's been there from the beginning, really. Some of the greatest recordings are tenor players and trombone players. The blend of those two particular instruments is pretty special, going back to Stan Getz and JJ, Jimmy Heath and JJ. They did some really phenomenal albums. And then, of course, Coltrane and Curtis Fuller. The blend, the trombone and the tenor. It's
yeah.
nothing quite like it. And in fact, I grew up. That was my first jazz group, was tenor and trombone all
Okay.
throughout. High school. I had a small jazz combo, and we would gig out all throughout Cleveland with that combination. And it's just something about those instruments. I think that those two instruments complement each other the best, actually, as far as a wind instrument.
Okay. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Like as far as what I've experienced, it's a really cool combination. Okay, so actually, I didn't know that so you grew up in Cleveland then? That's where you were born, and then you moved to
No,
L.A.
I was born in L.A. and
Okay.
then raised in Cleveland, so
Okay. Interesting.
came
So
back to L.A.
okay. So how long were you in Cleveland for?
I was there through my most formative years of elementary up through my early 20s.
Okay. And they've got quite a music scene, right? To this day, right?
They really have an amazing music scene, actually. Art Tatum is from there. Just as far as trombone players, we had Jigs Wiggum was from there. Uh, One of my great mentors, Andy Hunter's from there. Also, Joe Lovano is a Clevelander.
Okay. Yeah.
And as far as the jazz scene there, it's so rich, so vibrant, so amazing, really, because everyone can really play. It's the school districts are really, they rooting for all kinds of arts and jazz. And just in my high school, Hudson High School, we had like four big bands in the high school.
Oh well.
That's pretty crazy. And we'd have guest artists like Maynard Ferguson be the artist in residence and stuff like that. They'd bring out all these great people. But that's actually what changed my life was, being um, around all these great musicians they would introduce us to through the educational process at my school growing up. And another thing about Cleveland that's interesting is, you have Lorain County, which actually has the second largest Puerto Rican population outside of New York.
That's interesting.
And
I didn't know
so
that.
the salsa scene there, you mentioned you were into that scene. The
Yeah.
scene in Cleveland is very strong as far as that goes as well.
Huh. That's really cool. I'll have to check that out sometime.
And the Cleveland Orchestra's there.
Okay.
They all play their tail ends off. And you got Oberlin College, and you got all kinds of great. I mean, musically, there's nothing to do there. I mean, because it snows so much, the weather's horrible. It's got the worst weather on the planet.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do with your time? You're going to sit in your room and you're going to just like practice a bit. You're gonna get good at an instrument. You're gonna do something productive indoors. So that's the result of it.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds something I've kind of heard about before. One of my uncles was an engineer, and he was up in school in Oregon, and it just rained all the time. He was a pretty good student. I think it might have
Yeah.
contributed a little bit.
There
That's
you
funny.
go.
And two of my friends actually, they're visiting from Columbus. I went to visit him a couple years ago, but I was there more like September, so I haven't actually experienced the wintertime in Cleveland. But
Yeah, Columbus is another musically rich, we have some great people. Byron Stripling's there. He leads the Columbus Jazz Orchestra.
okay,
And there's a tenor player that nobody knows about named Eddie Beard,
maybe,
who supposedly amongst tenor players, they all have a consensus that this guy is like the guy that is one of the greatest that ever lived, but nobody really knows about him. Eddie Beard is his name, and
okay.
he's in Columbus as well.
All right, I'll have to check him out.
Yeah,
Is he an
absolutely.
older guy or a younger cat?
He's probably been around a while, but it's a known fact amongst tenor players in that area that this guy
Okay,
is the guy.
all right. Yeah, yeah, I haven't heard that name before, but yeah, now that you mention it, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, so yeah, you can find Paul in different places on the internet. I saw you on a couple of live streams on Instagram, like this last week. I guess you're on Facebook, on YouTube, different places. You
I'm
got your website.
everywhere, man.
Yeah, I
I go
guess
on everything.
I don't know why I've caught your show randomly on Instagram, but I guess I just happen to be
That's
on.
cool.
Actually, I want to ask you about something you said the other day. You're basically giving some advice for like younger musicians, and you're basically telling them to get as good as they can get, and then to get out and play with people so they know that they exist.
You're right.
So, in terms of like getting as good as you can get, what are and I'm sure you kind of changed your approach to practice over the years. What kind of have you found those were some of the most effective things for practicing music for
Oh,
you?
definitely recording yourself is the most important thing.
Okay.
Recording yourself as much as possible, as frequently as possible, listening to those recordings. I would record myself every day, every practice session, every lesson, and I
Okay.
would study them at night as I was falling asleep.
Oh wow.
And I found that that's when I grew the most. That's when I became the best because automatically your body wants to keep what they like about it, and then you get rid of what you don't like about your playing.
Okay.
So I really feel like recording is the most important thing, and listening to your recordings of yourself, you'll constantly get better and better and better because you step outside of your body and you see yourself as an audience member, as a listener, and it's so easy when you're playing an instrument. You're in the moment, and you think you're playing so great, and you're like, yeah, this is awesome.
Hmm.
But we're kind of in our own little world. We don't really see the big picture when we're inside our bodies performing.
Yeah.
But when you get outside of your body and you listen as a listener, you are like, wait a second, it wasn't all that good. What I thought. Why was I really digging that so much? And the only way to get there is to record yourself. But you'll hear a lot of things you like too on the positive end of it.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I actually do record all my lessons, and then I record
Great.
myself sometimes, but maybe not as much as you're talking about. Okay. And how much would you say you kind of practice a day, like when you're like
Oh well,
struggling?
up and coming. I was pretty obsessed with it. Things came naturally to me too at a young age. I started playing, bluegrass when I was a really young kid.
Okay.
Things came naturally, I just had like a natural feel for music, but I didn't really get on like an intense, regimented practice schedule until I was a teenager.
Okay.
When I made the conscious decision of, all right, I got to go this path. This is the path for me. In order to get there, I'm going to really have to step up the game. And I was hearing what all the people in the industry were performing at the level of their musicianship, and I knew that I needed to put the work in to get there. So then I had a pretty regimented schedule. I mean, I had like a list. I'd write down all the things to practice, and I would check them off the list, and I had like a daily workout routine, and got with the greatest private instructors I could possibly get with, and I got to work on it, and I just never stopped, and I just kept on doing it, and I wouldn't let anything get in my way. I just wanted to make sure I reached that goal. And if you just have that mentality and you just never stop doing it, you're going to get there. But there's one thing you have to remember.
Hmm.
People always want to practice stuff that they already know because they want to sound great in the practice rooms to
Yeah.
boost ego. Now, in order to really get better and better and better, you want to practice things you don't know. You want to sound horrible in the practice rooms. You want to sound like you're struggling in the practice rooms. The
Hmm.
more you do that, the more you're going to grow.
Yeah, yeah, that's all makes sense. I remember you were talking a bit about that the other day on one of the streams. and I thought that was a very important point. I think it can be a lot more fun sometimes to play the things you know, and it can
That's
be.
the thing. Maybe at the beginning, just kind of get you going, but or at the end, as a reward. That's a good
Yeah,
way too.
yeah. I figure you got to get some things that are fun to play into the practice. Otherwise, it's gonna get a little bit discouraging.
It's always a balance.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like to save the jazz and the playing tunes at the very end of a lesson or at
okay,
the end. Like the improvisation has always been the most fun part for me.
yeah,
So I always like to save the improvisation until at the end. But I also warm up as an improvisation in some ways with long tones. But like as far as really getting into it and really studying it, taking it apart, I find it when you have that to look forward to. For me, it makes the other stuff easier to get through. But you got to learn to enjoy it all.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think yeah. Sometimes it's kind of like it's hard work, but at the same time, it's almost like meditation. Like when you're practicing and you learn to enjoy it. It's kind of
It's
like
exactly.
maybe like going to the gym. It's not always super fun to do a certain exercise, but it makes you stronger. So,
Well, the hardest part about practicing is taking the instrument out of its case.
do you keep it on the stand most of the time?
I
Am I help
got
out with that?
all over I have I'm all over. I got three there. Got one
Uh,
there, and then I'm always ready to pick them up
nice, nice.
wherever. I got mouthpieces in each one too, so I don't have to like use the same mouthpiece. I just have a mouthpiece in each.
Okay, I think that is one thing that's more convenient about the brass instruments. You don't have to put a reed on there. You don't have to worry about the reed.
Oh, we have the best, man. Especially like compared to anyone. Trombone's two pieces or three
Yeah,
pieces really, and you don't need reeds. You don't need to fix the valves. You don't need to replace strings.
yeah. And the sax, you got the little like pads everywhere and little pieces of cork, so sometimes one of those gets a little bit off. But
Yeah, we got one that works. Sometimes it gets screwed up.
okay,
Maybe once every 4 or 5 years.
that doesn't sound too bad. Okay, and then let's see. The other thing that you were talking about that one day was like getting out to like get people to see you. Did you kind of like start with like jam sessions, or how did people kind of start to find
Oh
out who
yeah,
you were?
absolutely. Yeah, jam sessions, rehearsal bands. Everyone, let everyone know you exist.
Hmm.
That's what I would do before the internet existed, and then once
Yeah.
the internet existed, I realized that I can get people's attention a lot easier.
Okay.
So I took advantage of it, and I made sure everyone knew who I was, and I still am trying to. I'm still trying to. I want everyone to know who I am.
Yeah. I mean, from
So.
what I've seen, it seems like you're doing a pretty good job. Like, I think I kind of like knew about you kind of on the periphery maybe a couple of years ago. I think maybe
Mm.
some people who I know play trombone definitely know who you were, and then I think I saw you start like popping up on YouTube, like different like arrangements with different voices of trombone.
Mm.
It'd be like four of you like all playing together. I saw some pretty cool things that way.
Thanks.
Would you say YouTube is kind of one of the main places where you got some recognition early on, or were there some other places you went?
Yeah, it was like the first. It was the first platform. I think I was on it at the very beginning,
Okay.
like right at the beginning, putting up videos. I think my first video I ever uploaded was like 2006, 2007, 2006. No, I think it's like actually I think it was like 2005 or six. I think it was like right when YouTube started.
Okay, so even before Google about it, probably.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
And it just that was on one channel I had.
Hmm.
And I was putting up stuff right at the beginning. Some of the very first jazz videos and stuff were I was responsible for uploading them, like some of the historical footage of people, like Rosalino and stuff. And then I would, videotape some. I'd be at like a concert and I'd videotape like some of my idols, and I would put it up for like a live little jam session of them.
Okay.
And then I just started putting up videos of myself. Then I met my friend Leonard. He's a great vocalist. We started a channel back in like 2008 or something. I don't know.
Okay.
And I just had kind of an epiphany.
Yeah.
I had an epiphany that I could get people's attention extremely easy with video. Audio is a little tougher.
Hmm.
Especially it's like people don't want to listen to this. Check this out. Their attention span's not as much. But then I
Hmm.
found out that like, oh, I could like write a song for a celebrity. They'll be the subject matter about it. They'll watch the video. They'll retweet it. They'll hit me up. and give me some recognition, and everyone wins.
Okay.
So I did that with Ellen DeGeneres, and I
Nice.
wrote a song for her. And then the very next morning, I got a phone call. I tweeted it out. It was like the beginning of Twitter,
Okay. Yeah.
when Twitter first started. And I was like, oh gosh, I can get to these celebrities so easy, easier than ever before. So then I was like, all right, I'm writing a song for Ellen. Wrote a song with my buddy Leonard. We're up all night doing it. Put it up the next morning. Tweeted it out to her. Got a call from our producers, and they interviewed us. So it wasn't really like it didn't result of me being a guest or anything. But then I just had the epiphany. Oh my gosh, I can get people's attention super easy with this internet stuff.
Hmm.
So then I started making videos for all kinds of people. I made a song for Ryan Seacrest. Then he featured it on his website, put it on his thing, and then Top 0.0, I got featured on there like 5 times.
Oh wow.
So it was like I just like started realizing. And then I did a song about playing with your phone while sitting on the toilet, and I started realizing that I could make videos and get attention and bring an awareness to the trombone in a way that hasn't been done before. And I love the trombone. I feel very passionately about the trombone. And I feel like the trombone is kind of always like a side instrument. It's kind of in the background. It's there. It's on a lot of genres. It's always there, but it's never like really out in the front. And I wanted to give the trombone some love, so I took the opportunity to really let the trombone be known in as many contexts as I possibly could, featuring different vocalists,
Okay.
doing whatever.
Wow. Yeah. No. I can think about what you're doing. That sounds like it definitely work. Actually, when you mentioned Tosh, that reminds me kind of like Sergio Flores, like the sexy sax man.
Right.
Like I remember his video came out and I saw it as a saxophone player. I was just showing it to everyone I could possibly see it. But then
Yeah.
somehow like a pirated version got onto like Tosh and like somehow like it started to build up and then
Yeah, that blew up. That
he,
was
he,
great.
he really grew what he was doing and he's a great saxophone player, but he made a very entertaining video with that one. So
Yeah, yeah, they did a great job. But I believe the guy who produced it, it was not him.
yeah, well
Um,
it's his friend
Michael,
Mike Diva. Yeah.
Mike Diva. Yeah, like he was kind of the brainchild behind it all.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, they were friends in LA and then I
exactly.
remember yeah.
I was there when they
Okay.
did it in person,
Oh, nice.
uh, and I was like, "What are they doing?" And because I was there, just like I was a bystander. I was in Hollywood,
Okay.
and I saw this guy dressed up like this sax dude walking around. I'm like, "This is crazy." I wonder what's gonna happen. And sure enough, I saw a video. I'm like, oh, that's what they were doing.
Okay, nice. Yeah. Yeah, I met Sergio maybe a few years later at the NAMM show, and he's a super cool person, very friendly. I remember I was there, and like he's friends with like Oleg and some different people, but he had on this like special like neck strap. Well, it's not exactly neck strap. It's the sax the Jazz Lab thing, and he was
Yeah,
like he handed me the saxophone and he said, "Oh, try this out. This is really cool." And I was like, "Wow, this guy's really like humble and really great musician, but a really cool person
nice.
at the same time." Do you make it out to the NAMM show?
I'm there every year.
Okay. Where do you tend to be? What do you like to do when you go
Usually,
there?
my trombone company that endorses me, BAC. I'm
BC.
usually at their booth hanging out.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I think I'm probably gonna be heading out there, so maybe I'll stop by and say hello.
Yeah,
Uh,
please do. I'll
yeah.
probably be hanging, playing the bones.
Okay. Nice. Can you tell me some more about the album that's gonna be coming up?
Yeah, the album
Yeah.
is a blend of all these musical influences I've had in my life. Everything that has influenced me: hip hop, jazz, electronic music, pop music, and it's all electronic. But the trombone is clean. The trombone is clean. Very acoustic, a very paying homage to the true trombone tone.
Okay.
And it's all original production, all original composition, and it was mixed by Ryan Gilligan, who mixed for many people, engineered for Kanye West, won a Grammy with Kanye West in 2010. It was mixed by Steve Jenowick, who worked on Michael Jackson's Bad, worked
Okay.
on Paul McCartney's albums. It was mastered by Tom Coyne, who's up for 3 Grammys for this year. I think the Adele album, Bieber's album. He did Taylor Swift 1989. He won the Grammy with that last year. So the team is all Grammy winners,
Okay.
all star. It's pretty cool.
Okay, so you got a bunch of solid people kind of backing you up on that one.
I figured if I was gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. I don't want
Okay.
to halfway do it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna really do it, and I'm gonna get the best people to help me with it.
Okay.
So that's the result, and I'm super excited about it. Everyone that's heard it is telling me they're loving it. Telling me it's very different. They haven't quite heard this sound before.
Yeah.
So
I feel like
that's
I got maybe like a little bit of a preview. You were kind of showing a few songs on some of your streams. So
mm,
yeah, what I heard was pretty cool, and I
uh,
definitely ordered it. So I'll check it out.
like
When does it come out?
March 7th.
March 7th. Okay. And are you doing kind of like a tour connected to it?
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some shows going on.
Okay.
Got people working on that for me, so I don't know the details yet, but I'm sure I'll
Okay.
find out soon.
All right. Very nice. Okay. And so yeah, I think you were saying you play the trombone. You also play like piano. You play some percussion. Um,
Yeah, I do.
okay. How does that kind of affect like your practice and like how do you think it helps you maybe musically with what you do?
I think everyone should do it. I think everyone should have an understanding of how all the instruments work,
Okay.
as far as especially rhythm section instruments. Everyone could practice rhythms. Everyone could practice drums. You don't have to have a drum set, but you should study rhythms because then
Okay.
it's going to take away the whole aspect of rhythm, and you don't think about the melody. So you're just isolating the rhythm. You can really get into the rhythm, and it's going to make everything stronger. If everyone has this, everyone relies on the drummer to have a
Mhm.
good sense of rhythm and a good sense of time. But if the soloist has that good sense of rhythm and time, then it's just going to make the whole ensemble much better and it's much stronger. And then you can play alone and really carry it and just have your instrument and just do great performances without anyone else.
Yeah, definitely.
So as far as that, that's really wise to study rhythms. As far as the keyboard, I mean, that's the piano is the best. And then you understand how harmony works. It makes sense. All of a sudden, you start to visualize how music is related, how it works.
Hmm.
It's the great visualization of music. You know, you see the big picture when you see how harmony works and how the guide tones works and the voice leading. And if you don't know have a piano understanding, it's a little harder to get there. It's not impossible, but it's a little harder to see the big picture.
Okay. And have you how far have you gone with the piano? Have you done like have you played piano in groups before, or how did you kind of do it just more as a practice and to
Maybe I
understand?
have, but I don't
Okay.
advertise myself as that.
Okay.
But yeah, probably mostly as a compositional
Okay.
and as a practice tool.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I can read chords. I know harmony. You can
Okay.
put a sheet in front of me. I'll play it. I could take a little solo if you want me to.
Okay.
But I'm no classically trained pianist. I'm not. I don't have the technique.
Okay.
But I definitely understand how it works.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah. I remember I went out to Victor Wooden's place and Steve Bailey was there and he asked me if I played some piano. I was like a little bit, and he said, "Well, you should play a little bit more." I was just he's a funny guy too, actually.
Nice.
So okay, cool. And you can like play like a drum set, things like that too.
I do. Yeah, I can play. I took
Okay.
lessons
Oh, nice. How long do you
and
do that for?
a few years.
Okay. So
Studied with Ray Perello. He
okay.
he's one of the best drummers in Cleveland.
Okay. Nice.
He was Louis Bellson's protege.
Okay. Okay. So you got a pretty good teacher to get some lessons from.
Yeah, it was a great teacher, and it was later. You know, I grew up playing rock drums, punk rock drums as well, and had a drum set my whole life growing up and play and mess around on it. But then I got into like more advanced rhythms and kind of like how to use brushes and all kinds of stuff with this guy. And it was
Hmm.
fun.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I remember there's like a video of Michael Brecker and he's on the drum set. He's pretty good actually. Like he wasn't really known for playing, but
There
he
are a
had
lot
that
of those
skill.
guys that you
Yeah.
just are like, what? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy.
Cool. Do you play at like some of the jazz festivals in different places?
Oh, you cut out. Are you there?
Oh yeah, yeah. Still here. Good.
Sorry, Neil, you cut out. Are you?
Yeah, I'm here now.
Okay, cool.
All right. Oh, I was wondering
Cool.
if you like play any jazz festivals. Like, would you like make it to the Monterey Jazz Festival or anything like that?
Yeah, I play jazz festivals. I play the Tri-City Jazz Festival. I would love to go to more jazz festivals. Kind of right now figuring out the best venues for me.
Okay.
So it's kind of right now we're just figuring out the best venues for me as far
Okay.
as I could go either way because my music's such a hybrid of so many different things
Hmm.
that it's it's all a matter of finding the best situation for myself at the moment.
Okay. And when you perform, what kind of a group is it with?
Well, for promoting this album, it's just going to be myself as like a DJ trombonist slash keyboardist slash looping machine guy.
Okay.
So I'll just do everything up on stage, like very much like a DJ, but like in real time with real instruments and looping and electronically, and then the trombone.
Okay. When did you start getting into the looping stuff?
Got into the looping stuff about 2, 3 years ago.
Okay. And do you use like a foot pedal, or how do you
I use
control that?
the Boss RC, I believe it's the 505,
Okay.
and it's a loop station, and it's pretty cool. I have some videos up of me doing it.
Okay,
Maybe
but
like
you do
videos.
control it with your foot though, right?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. How does that?
I just go da hit it quick, da hit it.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I got a
because
little. Yeah.
and I wanted to use the most control I can have with it
Hmm.
was the one that wasn't controlled with the foot. I could use a foot pedal with it,
Hmm.
but I'm not controlling it that way.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I was
I did
curious
four
about
videos
that.
up about it, so you can check them out.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely do that. Sounds good. And let's see. You also teach some students with the
I
trombone.
do. Yeah, I
Okay.
teach.
How much of that do you do?
How much do I do of it?
Hmm.
Whenever, every week.
Okay.
I got a lot of
And
students.
your students tend to be kids or adults or
Every
different
age group,
every age?
anyone that wants to study with me, I'll teach them. I'm not prejudiced against anyone that wants to learn music. Whoever wants to learn music with me, if I
Okay.
got time and can schedule them in, I'll teach them. I do it Skype. I do it in real life, wherever, whenever. I love teaching.
Okay.
I always thought, always figured I have like three career paths. One is like a solo trombonist. One is an educator. One's like is like a producer and kind of a thing. So
Okay.
and an internet kind of a thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of like three career paths.
Okay. I mean, so it kind of basically seems like the music industry has changed, but if you kind of figure out how it works, you can definitely do pretty well with music still. It's just
There's
not
always a
exactly the
path.
same. Yeah.
There's always a way. There are
Okay.
people making livings doing music. There's no reason why other people can't.
Yeah.
So you just
Yeah.
gotta figure out the path, figure out the way, figure out the niche, and you can make it happen.
Okay. Very cool. All right. What do you think some of your students tend to have trouble with as you've been teaching them in these lessons?
The the hardest thing for anyone to that I've noticed is the sense of rhythm.
Okay.
Some people are born with a better sense of rhythm. It's way easier to teach harmony, how notes fit together,
Hmm.
melodic content, than it is to teach the internal clock and the internal rhythm.
Hmm.
So that usually takes a little bit more to work with for someone that struggles with the rhythm. But it's not impossible. I'm just saying it's easier to teach someone the melodic and the harmonic end of the three elements of music versus the rhythmic element.
Yeah. I could see that. What are some approaches to helping people with rhythm then for people
Always
who
use
struggle?
metronome.
What's that?
Always using a metronome.
Metronome. Okay.
That's a definite thing.
Okay.
Um, I always recommend like, hold on, I gotta get some water. You mind
Oh
really
yeah,
quick?
go for it. Always. With the mirror, it looks like more trombones.
All right, yeah. So like, I have people like always have the metronome on. Another thing is to always be tapping your foot when the music's on the radio. Whenever there's music, just to always be aware of the time. And you can practice this anywhere. You don't have to have your instrument. You just always be aware of time, feel the time, tap your foot. Tapping your foot is like the main thing. It's like so many people, they do music and they don't tap their foot. You know, the best musicians in the world, I look at them and they're always tapping their foot. So if it's good enough for the best musicians in the world, like Yo-Yo Ma, then why would a beginner not have to tap their foot? Why would a beginner think that they're beyond tapping their foot? You know,
Okay.
everyone should tap their foot. It's everything. What happens when the music gets really complicated and you have all these subdivisions and these crazy rhythms? If you're not feeling the time, and I can't tell that you're feeling the time, the trial and error is gonna, the percentages are gonna go way down. You're gonna definitely. Someone's cleaning the hallway. Yeah, it's gonna hurt you once things get more challenging.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of like on a kind of on a tangent. You're saying there's like a salsa community like near where you live. Do you like to dance? I feel like personally that's kind of related to the rhythm.
Uh, I like
That
to
can be
dance.
helpful.
I do. I
Okay.
like to dance. I like to do little moves in the horn section. It's fun.
Okay. Nice. Do you have any videos of that?
Oh yeah, check out
Okay.
my Get Lucky cover
Okay.
with the bass trombonist Paul Rivera.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like yeah, part of like the entertaining like element of like the show is like what you're doing, like moving around too. Like I think I've
Yeah,
seen like drummers like juggling and doing funny stuff. It's all part of like part of the show. So I think it can be helpful if you think about that. What you wear, what you how you move around, your stage presence, all that.
exactly.
So
So true.
cool. All right. And okay, so kind of the platform that you're using for the album right now is called Pledge Music.
Right,
Is
Buzz
that the
Music.
only place you can get it, or just want
Right now, yeah.
to? Okay.
And then when it comes out, it'll be pretty much available everywhere.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So I'll probably throw down a link to that, and through your website you have like links to like
The
all
best
your
way
other
is
things, right?
just go to callthetrombonist.com. I made
Okay.
it simple for everyone, so they don't have to worry about that crazy link from the pre-order site because it's a
Okay.
little complicated. So
Okay. So
I
that might
just
be the easiest.
the easiest way is paulthetrombonist.com because then I put a little thing, a little caption at the top that says "Click here to pre-order,"
Okay.
and then when the album comes out, it'll say "Click here to order."
Okay.
So it's very
So very
simple. Paul the Trombonist. It will be around forever, and you always know where to get my music.
okay. Sounds good. Cool. Yeah, and I definitely recommend checking it out. I'm looking forward to hearing it once it comes in.
Thanks, Neil. Really
All right.
appreciate
Yeah.
it so
Yeah.
much.
Thanks for doing this interview. I'm glad we got a
It was
chance
an
to talk.
honor. It was an honor, and definitely let me know, and I'll share it when you put it up,
Cool.
and let people know about what you're doing. I appreciate what you're doing.
All right. Thanks. Sounds good. And then maybe I'll see you at the NAP show in a couple of weeks. I'll try and
Stop
stop by.
by. I will be there. Shoot me a message.
All right. Cool. Cool. All
Friend.
right. Thank you very much, Paul. Appreciate it.
Welcome. Bye bye.